Welcome, everybody. It's book time. We're living in a post-truth reality, and instead, we're going to read a book. How about that? Suck it. I'm feeling very combative today, so I'm going to try to not do that. I'm going to rein that back in.
Well,
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Thanks,
if things get a little too boring, we'll just fight. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes I'm just like, I go through like waves of being like, I want to hide. I want to burrow into the moss and not. And then sometimes I'm like, actually, we should craft weapons from twigs or something. Both of these impulses are bad. There's probably a middle ground that is much better. Would you believe that?
Yeah, somewhere.
All right, we're talking about a book. It was a reasonably priced book. That's why I like it. It's like $40 or something. 35.
It's a lot of bang for your buck.
A lot of bang for your buck. This is not a hobby book. It's not for babies.
No, it's basically a book that's written as if it's a like scientific literature, just with a cover.
Yes, there. So like the back is full of citations for you to check, which is unlike many hobby books, which maybe still have references, but they're not. They're not written like in a style where you're like, okay, they're sort of alluding to the reference, but they're not necessarily like referencing like a scientific paper, Right. So this is like that, which is good. Because
most of the stuff that they reference, a lot of that was all observational science. Mm-hmm. So there was very little raw data to reference. So they kind of had to create their own, and that's why Dr. Graham Reynolds was down in the West Indies anyway, was to collect that raw data.
Right. Well, I was in the front. He saw, like, the book was published in support by the Silver Boa Trust.
Mm-hmm. There's a section in the back that has a bunch of organizations. Well, not a bunch. There's only a handful of them. Organizations that are doing like some captive breeding and releasing, like Head Start programs, and just funding protections. And that was one of them.
Mm-hmm. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's on the board.
Yeah, I don't know. I know he teaches at North Carolina University. I think it's University of Ashland.
Ashland?
I think. It's one of the North Carolina universities. I should know. You think I would know.
I looked him up, and then I was like, he's published 56 papers on Boas.
Yeah, he's been on I know he's been on Boas. Maybe twice.
Oh, twice. I don't think I listened to them. For some reason, this like region's Boas have always been like, I don't hate them, but I just didn't think about them very hard. Is that weird?
A lot of people don't. It's like it's a little blind spot that nobody knows about. But there's it's insane. There's a crazy number of boas down there, a bunch of insular species, and each one developed by the islands. So it's like Pokemon, where you go to like different regions. It's the same basic body plan, but totally different based off the environment.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There are some boa species, like boa constrictor species as well.
Right. I guess we can get into it. I think the first thing, maybe the most important thing in the beginning, they're like, hey, big dogs, we're not talking about any of the continental islands.
Yeah, no continental islands, and specifically no Trophodophus, because that's not a true boa.
Right. So it's basically the two species of boas, the two species of Coralis, and all of the other, was it 14 other? Am I making that up?
No, yeah, it's like 13 or 14 of the Chilobothris. And by the way, Chilobothris and Chilobothris are both fine.
I never claim to pronounce anything correctly.
Yeah, the scientific names are made up words. I usually say Chilobothris because it's based off the Latin word chylos, which is lip. So I say Chilobothris, but I hear a lot of people
Why is it lip?
Because Chilobothris is so Bothris means without pits. So it's just lip without pits.
But they have heat receptors, don't they?
Probably. They don't, from my experience just with the Dominicans, they really don't go off a heat signature. Like at all. They're very visual.
Aren't they systematically closer to Coralis than to the other ones?
Not really. They're really, really, really distant. The DNA testing was just done really just in the past maybe decade or two. It's not. I mean, it's not old. They used to be obviously they used to be part of or a lot of the species used to be part of Epicrates, and they did DNA testing and found that they were not related.
Well, if you look on page 8, that's the phylogeny based on Reynolds 2013.
Yeah, let's go.
Hylobothris is not Epicrates, but they are like sister.
Yeah, it's a sister clade.
Right. I was wondering, they don't have heat pits.
Mm-mm.
Not pits, but like
they don't have labial pits. Yeah, and like striatus is just doubling down because striatus means smooth. So the Dominicans, the smooth pitless lip.
Well,
there is so
here. Let's look at this.
Let's see, Epicrates.
And so there's pits on the bottom.
Which one's that one? That's anglerfur. So that's Cuban boa. Yeah, some of them have like I noticed that. So Cuban boas not only they have a boxier head, and also have like the little pit things like underneath, like the lower labials. And I think that's why.
Well, you can sort of see like maybe there's like. I'm not saying they have pits on the top, but like the region's the same.
Yeah, it's almost
We've
like
gone off the rails really fast.
It's like the remains of maybe it used to have a pit at some point,
right?
And then they slowly lost them over time. If you go to striatus, the striatus species, they're very, very smooth. And I believe
no pit.
Yeah. They're completely
because they switched to lizards more.
They switched to lizards, but here's the thing, though, is especially with Cuban boa, what's really interesting is one of the reasons why I think they maintain their pits a little bit more. All of the boas, except maybe one of them, of the Hylobothris, have been known to eat bats. Mm-hmm. But the Cuban and the Puerto Rican are really, really good at it. Like they've really honed in. That's what they prefer. There's actually really cool pictures in there when we get there.
Yeah, there is a picture of one like.
Yeah, there's a couple more.
Ab day all day.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Yep.
What was I going to say? We do not include anecdotal information related to captivity for the species represented here.
No, that's not entirely true because some of the descriptions that we refer back to, like certain, like with the sizes. The snout vent length on these, they do have, and I think the lifespans also. They took those from zoos that had them.
Mm-hmm. But I think this brings up a good point that, like, if we wanted to be taken more seriously, maybe we should put things in the primary literature, not just make a hobby book about it. What do you think about that? Because that's part of the problem.
I mean, when you look up, like on like whatever you use, Google Scholar or PubMed or whatever, you can't find, if you type in like Hylobothris, you don't find anything. There's no papers. The most papers you find is on like the newly described like Gracilis. You see like there's like 4 papers on that, but there's nothing like, there's very rare to find anything before then. Epicrates, when they weren't called Epicrates, you can find some things, but nothing specific. Yeah, there's very little done.
It's strange.
Not that there's not done, but there's just not a lot out there. There's actually a book, I think it's Reptiles Amphibians of the Lesser Antilles, or maybe it's just Reptiles of the Lesser Antilles. You could find it at the guy that sells books at Tinley. He'll have it on the table. It's like a $300 book. But if you have like access through like your through like a campus or whatever, through a university, you can get it. Like I just downloaded it all off a one of the PubMeds for free. But it's strictly like descriptions. So it's talking about like like scale counts on the face, like describing like where the loreal split, whether it's divided or fused. It's strictly like descriptions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's not that fun. I wouldn't pay $300 for that.
No, but I'll download it.
Yeah, for sure. I just thought that was interesting. I think people should probably get their shit together and try to publish something, because it's, I don't know if you noticed, it's much easier to get things published now. I mean, it's still not fun necessarily, but because a lot of the publications are online only,
yeah, it's a lot cheaper now.
It's a lot cheaper, and you still have reviewer 3 to deal with.
Well, the issue right now is there's not enough. They say like no science is science, or no results is still results. They're because publishers have gotten so strict on what they publish, they won't accept things that don't have like life-changing results. So if you did a full study and found that there was nothing significant in what you found, that's still valid, because you just showed everybody else, like, hey, this method didn't work, and it still could be valid for somebody, and it still could be. It's still very well, could be publishable, but publishers won't publish it.
Right, in the big papers.
Yeah.
But I, like, there's a lot of little ones, like the Journal of Geology of.
Yeah, if you you have to get really specific ones. Yeah.
And it's $50 to submit, and the people volunteered, obviously, to be peer reviewers. So that's what I was saying. Like,
yeah.
I don't know who has to be sucked off to get in nature.
Yeah, but the benefit of the book is it is more accessible.
It is more accessible. I'm just saying, like, if the hobby thinks it, a lot of times a hobby has like, we know exactly what we're talking about because I see them every day.
But we don't.
Okay, right. Some things, like maybe how many babies they could have. You would have more access to that kind of information. So you should publish that as well.
Yeah. Observational experiences. It's very much valid. And that's kind of how you combat the people that have been in the hobby since breakfast, and they think they know everything, and they throw a paper that some kid did in undergrad to get an A, and sample size of like 4 animals, and hey, look, this is how you should raise these guys. But the guy that's been keeping them for 40 years is completely invalidated because he didn't document any of it.
Right. And he may not have been trained to understand what he was documenting also, but that's a problem of like a science problem where, like, I don't know. Well, it's too competitive for funding or whatever. But if he already did all the work and he wasted all the money anyway, you might as well talk to him about it.
Well, and the problem I've been seeing is that observational science for wildlife biology has kind of gone out the door. Unless you have like major stats and all these processes you went through experimental biology wise, then people don't see a point in it. But that's because people think that we've seen everything we need to see. But with snakes, there's still a lot that hasn't been seen. You can go out into the jungle and observe something, document it, and that should be publishable. But you just don't see observational science being published anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't being particularly published when I was in school.
Everything needs a chart. Everything needs to be ran through R, but what about just going out and observing an odd behavior that's never been seen?
Right. It's just... I just think like stakeholders don't want to pay for that, but the answer is that some of the stuff will get paid for if you volunteer, basically.
Yeah.
So
like all these pictures of snakes hanging from the roof of caves. You can't really quantify it, and so no one wants to pay you to go take pictures of snakes in caves.
Right. And I mean, like, whatever your local journal, if you make it coherent and not written by AI, you can have like a species note published relatively easily. But nobody's paying you for that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to self-fund a little bit, and you got to really word your grant requests nicely.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. We do have a book.
Yep.
And I liked the fossil table. There's a lot of tables in this.
Well, what was kind of cool is like it has like the whole like evolutionary history of not just the snakes, but of the islands and the people. And then it talks about those like random fossils that were found, early history, like the Florida, there was what they're calling the Florida boa, which is a Chilobothrus skeleton that was found in Florida. And it's believed that there actually was a species that lived there.
So this is something I could kind of get into later, but I was like, they do go into things that happened. When the people got there, when the people may have been impacting natives, how they were impacted. But I was like, give me science's best estimate of when a boa hit an island and when that island, whatever, populated the next one down the next one. That never happens in here.
Yeah, like the flow of genes. Like, did they come from the south up or did they come from the north?
Right. 18 million years ago in Florida. That's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so some of these islands are old as shit. Like Cuba is old as shit. It's been farting around with North America since the Cretaceous or something.
Yeah.
And the Caribbean plate's different. So they all got smushed together. And obviously boas went up on there from South America because that's where they're from. But like, which ones were dispersed which way? That's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I don't think they really super duper know, but
no. Well, they, like I said, they just started DNA testing these guys like not too long ago, and so that's probably like in the works right now.
I want to know
gene flow,
and it is cool on the big islands. They like one will get there, and then they'll speciate the same way each time.
Yeah, they have. They all occupy. The boa has when it's populated an island, it's filled each niche of that a boa can fill on each island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's only like one island or two islands that has two decent sized boas. They all varied in size.
Right, because they all pick
different
trophic level to be at.
Yep, different meal plan and different size. Yeah.
Right. So that is cool. And like the bigger boas are only down on the Lesser Antilles Islands. They never made it. Which sounds like it was never a top-down thing.
Yeah, I think it was actually mentioned in here at one point that it did potentially. It probably came from the top of South America and followed the chain up that way.
Right. So, like the boa genus specifically never makes it up,
right?
Because it is never until people start shipping them around in plants.
Yeah,
but like
they know that the boa species like Boa nebulosa, that they are newer to the islands, and they definitely came from South America.
Right. And they look more boa-like than not.
Yeah, yeah. They're still definitely boa species.
Right. And then I had a conniption where I was like, what were sea levels at glacial maxima? Like 4 times. And then I had to look it up, and I was like, was the Florida Channel ever not a channel? No, too deep. It was never not a channel.
Which is why it's odd that they found remains of what is supposed to be a Cheilobathurus there. It's like, how the heck did that one get there?
And then I was like, what was the weather? And then who knows? Like, so like how many vegetation mats does it take to colonize a Florida? I don't know. But then maybe they came around and there was like, because I don't know if you remember, maybe like 20, I mean, you don't remember because you were not personally there, and neither was I. But like 20 million years ago, we were sort of in a tropical paradise for fun for a little bit. Like there were boas in like Kansas. But were these boas? I don't know. I don't think so.
No, those probably followed down like the island chain that the Central America at that point.
Well, if you're going to do the vegetable mat theory, they have to follow the currents. So then I was like, what were the currents? But then what were the currents 20 million years ago? I don't fucking know.
Right, yeah.
And then I was like, and then I got confused again, and it was fine. But I
probably know.
I'm looking at like sea level because like different. I was trying to see what if like the Lesser Antilles were ever connected. They were not. And was whatever Cuba ever volcanoes. Nicaragua, it was not at any time. Never has been. There's a big fucking trench there. So these are all vegetable mats.
So you can kind of time it also with the dispersal of mammals, because you don't see a lot of these mammals that are on the mainland. So it had to have separated before the mammals moved over, when they crossed the land bridge.
When Panama hit that land bridge?
So originally with them coming down from, South America and up and around. When they came down North America, down across South America, and at one point it was connected still with Africa through like Antarctica, and that's how you get the crossover there.
Well, I don't know if like the Lesser Antilles existed when Pangea broke up.
Right. Well, I'm thinking.
I think that's like an accretion of material. Because like right now, I don't know. I just watched a YouTube video about it, and I was like, "Please, God, somebody explain this to me."
I don't think it's that old. It's definitely after like the
right.
first.
But Cuba is old. It's on the North American plate.
Mm-hmm.
I would love a YouTube video. Someone with like drawing skills. Please, like, this is exactly what happened the last, I don't know, 100 million years or so. That would cover it. Thank you. In the Caribbean, and not from like a paleo geology perspective, but like a little bit of that, but more biology. Because I'm like,
yeah,
well, what was the dominant plants here then? Was it ones from only South America, only because of storm blow off? Or were there like relictal plants from Africa? I don't know. I still don't know. And then I was like, how many like coral atoll type things that developed recently?
Right.
Not very many.
Because I mean, just to the further west, you have the largest barrier reef outside of Australia.
Right, but apparently most of the island formation there, if it didn't already predate that structure, is just from like accretion of plate material as it spreads out of the Caribbean Sea. And so they're just like making. There's some volcanoes.
Yep. Not all volcanoes.
Not all volcanoes.
Yep.
Some of the islands are fine. They're just like extra stuff making islands for fun.
They're just little crusts that popped up. It's
right. And then like the Bahamas were more of an island.
Yeah, they're more these. I mean, they're more archipelagos. So like you can see where it was all shallower.
More of the Bahamas was an island. Wait, let's get a map. Let's get a map. I think only people are devastated. Bahamas at glacial maximum. This is what I was going through with this book. And I feel like there should have been a point where they did a better map. Because later on in the species accounts, I was like, you have zoomed in so hard right now. Don't stop zooming in. I need like a context map, small, and then like a zoomed in one to like whatever, the Conviction Island, which is in the middle of the Bahamas. But then I couldn't remember, like...
Yeah, it would have been nice if they had just one big map.
Like, there's a big map in the very beginning of the book.
Yeah, but it's...
Yes.
That's it.
I was like, brother, that map should be next to every tiny map of some weird island.
We need inset maps.
I think.
There's no inset maps.
All right, so here's the glacial maxima 20,000 years ago. So, like, here's the Bahamas. Big island, which is where the silver boa is.
Yeah.
And whatever, one little island. And then some of the islands are bigger, but there was never a continuous thing. And you can see the trench splitting this part apart. All right. Did we learn anything? Nope. Let's keep going.
Enough geography.
I know. But that's what I kept thinking about. I was like, oh, God, somebody give me a map up in here, please.
Right. Well, they went into a lot of like stuff that, it could have definitely would have been a good reference to have that. Otherwise, they would have been a really big book at that point.
They did do like a little how natural selection works. That was nice for like a normal person who's not being weird. And then they talked about the speed at which body size changed, which I thought was fun. Because they talked about like island dwarfism versus island gigantism, and like sometimes it doesn't happen at all. So that's relevant here.
That's where you get your splitting. You get the gigantism, which giant for an island is not the same as giant as anywhere else. But
and then I think, to be clear, like we were talking about like radiation once one comes, because the small boas are not each other's closest relatives.
Right.
Their closest relatives are the ones on the island that they are with, because like whatever founding animal or animals was a small number every time.
Yeah, like Gracilis is closer related to Striatus than Striatus is to Anglerfer.
I think that's interesting to me.
Yeah, it just shows like it's that whole getting established and then it split. which kind of gives you also a timeline on the island formation.
Right. Then they get into like the human parts because like we don't know what was here before native peoples got there because they could have changed things. They do like the arrival dates of the humans and the possible area that we know that they used because some things were already changing before. I don't know. Other weird Europeans also came and made sugarcane fields or whatever. Those things were already changing, but it wasn't a huge change. But we don't know how much it changed. But I think the fossil record is showing there was things already happening because we brought dogs. We love doggies.
And goats. Don't forget the goats.
Well, the goats were like post.
They were later. Yeah.
I just feel like, would a native person bring something that could have killed off a snake species that we don't know about?
Right.
Possibly. But some of these we don't know. But like now that we discovered fossil records for the boa on the islands, some of the lesser Antilles islands that don't currently have a boa, we're like, oh, okay. It probably did die at that point.
Yeah, there was in the way back, it mentions the extinct species that they know of.
And then it looks like when all of the species, people bring their chickens and whatever, rats. A lot of the snakes can switch. There's like a little chart on page 17 about that. There's just like, I'll eat a rodent or a bird.
Did you see that it was definitely predominantly invasive rodent?
Yeah.
Yeah, no native rodents in their gut.
Have you ever seen a picture of like a Cuban boa eating a rock iguana?
Yeah, they're big enough to.
I know. I said in here, I was like, are there enough rock iguanas around that Cuban boas are now predating on them, or are they just eating cats?
Probably eating a lot of cats. They're very opportunistic. They can fit in their mouth, they're going to eat it.
Yeah. I always keep finding like pictures of boa constrictors eating, or boa whatever, like other ones eating other kinds of iguanas, but supposedly these ones, even as adults, would predate adult rock iguanas.
Yeah, I mean, the Cuban boa is huge. It gets definitely big enough too.
Did you feel like the snout fin lengths were creatively large?
Yeah,
like
a little
4 meters for a boa nebuloso.
Well, yeah, nebulosa. I mean, you don't find them that big in the wild.
Right, like where are these sizes coming from?
I wonder if it's. I mean, a lot of the book, if you says like reported things that have been reported. You know how people are about keeping good documentation.
I know, and I just think there's no shot. Nebulosa is 4
Well, and that's why I think they took the like obviously like the ages and stuff were all from captive, not from wild, because they weren't even being tracked long enough to do a wild analysis on it.
And then I like got a wild hair up my butt, and I looked up the nebulosa again in captivity because there's supposed to be some, and like I went back to that website that was like they get the weird bone deformities. You remember that?
Do they get like what, like ossifications or like weird calcium?
They get like weird ossifications in their spine that makes them, I don't know, like they die. And then
is it Warren Booth? Somebody has been looking for those for years in captivity. Has been trying to get their hands on it. I thought it was Warren Booth.
Well, they used to be more common, and we've had some at zoos.
Yeah, a couple decades.
They released them. And then some people had them, and you can still find YouTube videos of people with them. But then that website was like, we think they need to be really hot, and people were keeping them like a regular boa. And I'm like, I was looking at the island, and I'm like, what about this island would make it hot as shit? Like they're like when the snake goes, it will make itself really hot. It doesn't like have self-control like a diamond python. And I'm like, well, maybe it's dumb. Maybe it doesn't need that to prevent bone deformities. Maybe it's just literally dumb, and it lost the like brain cells to not over.
It's probably. I mean, if they only saw that,
control itself,
have they only seen that in like the captive population? Because it's probably just inbred as hell.
Right. That's what I'm more thinking. Because they're like, we should have given them access to 120-degree temps.
No, I bet that's genetic.
I just like maybe they're dumb. Like we messed them up and now they're dumb.
Yeah, I mean, even with the with my Dominicans, their hotspot is only 80, but I know some people. Most of the communities on the 80, 88 is the hotspot, but there are some that are like, oh yeah, I put them on 95, 96 hotspot. I don't think they would enjoy that unless they have a big enough cage where you have it all the way at one far corner and they can just regulate. I wouldn't do a 95, 96.
I don't have the right answer. I've never kept Nebulosa, but I just pressed X to doubt the whole time I was reading that. I was like, I feel like we don't know what we're talking about. Somebody needs to go temp gun them in the wild. Because you think like a lovely Caribbean island with a nice breeze. Is that 120 degrees desolate wasteland, like the middle of the desert? No.
Well, Dave Kaufman, he was on that. He was doing the search for Nebulosa. Didn't he? Usually does the temperature reading. Yeah, he had a whole episode on it. It's the Boa movie. A whole section of that was Nebulosa.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the second part?
I don't remember.
I watched the first part.
Yeah, maybe it's the second part. Yeah, they found a couple of them. And he always does like the temp gun and the humidity gauge and all that. Sorry, my dog's.
I'll look it up later. Let me yell something. Like 14 animals have moved into this room in the last 5 minutes, and they open the door.
Yeah, my puppy got restless. I've been at school all day, so she's being a butt right now. I'm gonna show you guys some pictures then.
All right, we're back.
Oh, I was gonna start showing pictures while you're doing
There are good pictures.
Look at that cute little bastard.
He's getting a little lizard.
Yeah.
Oh no. So that's pretty cool. We're doing there's lots of tables. I actually like that. I was kind of excited.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank God there's tables.
Every species got like a little map and charts for whatever data they did have.
Which table? Oh, this one is a good table. The density, which is something every good field researcher of animals wants to know, because it doesn't matter like, oh, it's orange. You want to know how many there are.
It tells you how far off the path they went before they hit one.
Yeah. And some of them are really like at some points. Oh my God. Let me rephrase what I'm saying. They think that they're quite common where they are. So like they're very high density. So they're like, I don't know. Let me find an example.
Well, the
120 per hectare on Isla Mana. That's a lot of fucking snakes. A hectare is 100 meters by 100 meters for all you rubes out there, or 2.47 acres. So if it's that many, that's a lot of fucking. That's a lot. Well,
as far as the Chilobother species that are in captivity that I know of, they all cohab very well. They seem to prefer to be communal. Like a lot of people even do, they like to do reverse harems. They'll do harems too, but like males really seem to do well with another male to be kind of like sexually competitive and breed better. So some people can't get them to breed in like a harem, and they'll flip the order and get action.
There's a section here about social behavior. Where was that at? Do you remember? One of my horrific sticky notes. Yeah. Oh, I found it. It's under species accounts for. Oh my God, so many species.
What page number?
215. Oh, for Credensis. Corralis, actually.
Yeah, Corralis.
About them being best friends with each other.
There's Corralis is in here too, guys.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's interesting because, like, if there's not going to be that many like mesopredators on an island, then snakes can take up more sort of biomass share than they could on a mainland where you have all kinds of competing kinds of models for living. So like biomass density on the continent is way less than on islands. And I was like, oh, that makes sense to me. So they're supposed to be relatively dense. And
they like I said, they have no natural predators, which is why like, you know, people can walk up to them and just grab them. They don't even hiss.
Do you think they cannibalize ever?
I've never heard of it happening in captivity.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it hasn't, but they don't seem to.
Interesting. Because, you know, like Komodo dragons sort of have to cannibalize.
Right.
Maybe that's like step 4 in the process. Did we learn anything from this book yet? And then relative to mainland boas, which is alluding to what you said, the West Indian species, their ability to coexist with humans. They're not tolerant of humans, but because they're all like, whatever, it's fine. I live next to 10 snakes and some bunch of seagulls anyway, so they seem to do fine. And a lot of the parts where they were like interviewing people are like, hey, there's no venomous snakes on this island. Why do you want to kill snakes? They're like, I hate them. And you're like, they're like, but there's literally 0 on this island. They're like, so those kinds of like personal observations were interesting.
There's a note in here about based off of like interviews with people on the various islands, that there was about a 50-50 shot of whether somebody encountered a snake, whether they'd kill it or not. And a lot of that more recently, historically, they were used for medicine, literally to create snake oil. And they said in here that it was for hemorrhoids and respiratory problems specifically. But there's like, it's weird because like you have the Cuban boa, which has like a big like mythical background to it. And you would think that all like the legendary stories and all these, like you would think something like that would almost make the snake you know, not, you know, you think you'd want to keep them around because of that. Like, you know, similar like how South America has some areas where people like worship a snake like god.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they seem like a giant mythical snake. They see it as like maybe like a god or a deity, and they worship it. They don't kill it. That similar things happen with the Cuban boa as well, and yet they also still demonize them. There's actually one myth that the Cuban boa specifically will go up and find a mother with her child while they're asleep, put its tail in the baby's mouth, and then suckle from the mom.
What?
Yeah, that's in here too. But like there's no venomous species except for like some of the islands have like a rear-fanged racer. But the ancient humans would have had no reason to think that the snake was dangerous.
Don't you think that's just, it's not like because the ancient humans' fault. It's like the cultural subjugation of the native peoples that were there by dumb fucking Spanish.
And then there was colonizers.
Portuguese people. It's like, hey, fuck snakes.
Yeah, because historically they'd have no reason to. And then currently, like a lot of these species like to be in like, some of them do really well with civilization. Like
right, we make lots of rats and cats. And
not just that. So like striatus, and I bring it up a lot even because it's the one I know the most about. They actually are thriving. They're of least concern, even though they're still CITES too. They are of least concern because they have actually adapted really well to human colonization. They love being in avocado fields, and it's free pest control. So why kill it? It doesn't make sense.
Let's blame Christopher Columbus. Can we just collectively blame Christopher Columbus?
Yeah.
All right.
I blame white people.
All right, we can also blame white people. And then they talked about boas as invaders now, like accidentally moving them from different islands on accident and all this.
Mostly a boa constrictor.
Right, but we've also moved like Cuban boas to Florida, Cuban boas to other islands because we're moving stuff around. They get on, and usually we find them, but who knows? At this point, it's just a hodgepodge of snakes all jumbled together.
The snakes go where the rats are, and the rats are on the ships.
The other thing that was interesting, even though he doesn't want to talk about hobby, he mentions Facebook multiple times. On page 43, they're talking about like Grantai's range and like possible poaching incidents, and somebody was purporting the range of the snake in a place that it wasn't even from. For some reason, they're like, "Oh, there's not that many," or he was trying to say there's a lot, and he was like, "The range of the whole species is a lot on the island, but it's not," and he just made stuff up because it's on Facebook. So we love that for us.
Boa constrictor in Puerto Rico.
Which one?
Was it boa constrictor in Puerto Rico, or was it a different one?
Oh no, on page 43, Carla Roth's Grantai is also subject to posting an interesting intentional misrepresentation of range on social media. A series of Facebook posts from 2016 to 2018 purported to show adult and juvenile sea Grantai from locations such as Surreales in Puerto Rico, a mountainous region where the species has never been recorded. It's just from a single tiny locality. And then later on, they go into a story of like, I think, poaching again. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was in one of the species accounts where they gave the prices that Facebook listed them at and then said what island it was from. And like no one ever had it before. So it was clearly poached.
Yeah. So do you think it's one of those like somebody's just trying to drive up prices and say it's like a rare locale?
No, I think they literally poached it. What do you think of that?
Probably.
You know?
That's what I'm saying. Like they poach it and they say, "Hey, we poached it from this location, this mountain. It's a isolated locale of this species."
Maybe people need to get smart and not reveal that they poached publicly. So
probably that sounds like a good good way.
Like if you were going to poach, shouldn't you poach and not tell everybody on Facebook?
They get excited. That's what social media is for.
It's just funny because I think people just need to shut their mouth. Okay, this is a good time. All right, let's get into species accounts. Yeah. I thought all that was pretty fun, pretty dense. I kept having to look at a map, and I like that for me. Sometimes we need to be challenged. That's all. There's lots of nice pictures, lots of fun in situ pictures doing weird stuff.
Yeah, I like that they included a lot of like different morph variations.
Yes, that's the best part about all these is they're like, I want to be 10 colors. I'm like, great. And I do like snakes that grow up gray. So like I'm into Argentinium.
you like that silver?
Yeah, look at that fucking thing. It's fucking good.
Look at it's probably not gonna focus. Look at the baby.
The baby's pattern, they grow up like speckled silver gray. It is fantastic.
Yeah. That's cool.
And I spent like 10 minutes being like, where the hell is Conviction Island? It's a tiny little nothing burger island in the middle of the Bahamas.
Where is the island and can it fit in a Pringles can?
Right. It is. I won't take any, I promise. But they look very cute and fun.
Like that's like, how are the birds not catching that? Because it's not going through like a deal color shift. It's just gray. And you see it at night and it's just.
Is that a karst island? Oh, sorry, Conception Island, not Conviction. Sorry, everybody. Yeah. And then, like, here's the problem with the maps. Oh my god, you can't see. But this is the Bahamas, but this is like a piece of the Bahamas. So it's like a tiny little dewdrop dot in the middle of a map of a bunch of other dots. And then I just needed like a. Hey,
they should have gotten somebody like the people that like illustrate for like fantasy maps at the front of like a fiction book. You have like that really cool fantasy map. They need to do that.
Yeah, or like like Messengers maps in the Rat Snake Book of China or whatever. There's like a big ass color map. It's like really obvious what's going on, and it's like in context. That's what I need. I need context. I'm not.
I mean, ArcGIS does exist.
And then what was cool about the Turks and Caicos boa section is the boys are little wieners. They're nothing.
Yeah, I literally was just about to pull it up.
I know, it's so good.
Yeah. And it's not even the greatest dimorphism. There's another
and then the next page they do like a dimorphism ratio by species, which is a great graph because like
it is.
You would think it's always female biased. It's not. Sometimes it's slightly male biased. All right, yours look better than mine. Yeah, so that's a good graph. We love that. Body mass SVL for male versus female.
Wish you could actually read it though.
Love that. There's a bunch of like
That's a
yellow rat snake looking chirogaster.
Yeah,
like all the different morphs of striped versus spotted.
Yeah, isn't that neat that there's two totally different like phenotypes?
I love it.
It's incredible.
I love it when there's like Skittles and you get to taste the rainbow.
It's wild though, because you see stripes a lot in like the Thamnophis, but you don't see them in like natural and boas very often. Like a full bold stripe like that. That's so cool.
Yeah, and some of them, they almost look like,
people can see.
What do they look like? Some of them look like Trans-Pecos rat snakes or something with these really like round dots.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're cute. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at the guy at night.
He's like, I gotta go.
It's just bright white.
And then what I would like to know is, like, did they check, this is dumb, but like, did they check every key to see if it had no snakes on it? Like, that's the other thing. I was like, who knows?
I know that Graham Reynolds has like a whole, I guess he's got a bunch of students that still do work down there.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine they're probably still combing through a lot. I mean, look at Exel. Exel has like the coolest babies.
Yeah, they're very interesting because, like, you see the adult of the big ones, that sort of looks like a boa or python pattern.
Yeah,
but some of the little ones get crazy.
Yeah, the only one that I like the Cuban boa anglerfur that is noted in here for having very little to any shift in either color or pattern from juvenile to adult. It doesn't go through an optogenetic change. It stays about the same. It just gets maybe a little more exaggerated.
Does it change color day to night though still? Like most of them?
A little bit. It's not as noticeable as the other ones because they don't have like the reds and everything in there. Okay. They're that pale color. So they might just get a little whiter, like the underside. What was cool with them is they showed a color range, whereas all the other species seem to like vary across the islands. The Cuban boa, like there was a color difference from east to west, and you can see it getting darker and bolder from one side to the other.
Is that the one with the chart? No. There was a map, I think, of one of the Corrales where they're like going up the mountain. There's more black ones.
Yeah, that was
down the mountain. It's like,
I can't remember which Corrales it was, but that was a really neat one because it came in a bunch of different colors.
Yes. The other thing I thought was interesting, for Dominican red mountain boas, not in the mountains at all.
Well, no, they're almost the entire island.
Right, but like the clear, like they're like, look here, over 1,200 meters, not here. Fuck you. Like the most mountainous part of the island, they're not there. So they should need to be renamed.
Yeah, they're Dominican boa. Well, the thing is, the problem is you can't call it the Hispaniola boa because there's something else that they call the Hispaniola boa, and there's like 4 boas on the island. They can't call it the mountain boa because
it could be more mountain boa, but it isn't the mountain boa because they're not in the middle of the island.
Ford's boa is also typically called the desert boa, Hispaniola desert boa. So that's the thing is, but it shows like their range being on the coast. You find the Dominicans down on the coast just as often as you find Fords. And there's also no color difference. So the reds didn't just come from the mountains. That was kind of more of a marketing thing. It was.
But if we rename them based on some other property,
it's hard.
Big boa, little boa,
the big Hispaniola boa. Oh yeah, here you go. Here's the Cuban, the gradient in the Cubans.
Oh yeah, so it looks cool, and it's cool looking.
Well, they look like a diamondback rattler.
Are Cubans endangered? They are, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
So they can't cross state lines.
Correct. Them and the Subflavus, the Jamaicans, or CITES 1.
Bummer. I like Cubans. I think the yellow tone is nice, and they sort of have the ombre of like different ombre things that I like.
You need to get you a Jamaican boa.
I just need one that I can cross state lines with, mostly. Yeah. What about that?
The only Jamaicans I know are in Texas and Florida.
Guess we gotta move to Texas. Boo-hoo. Just kidding. The Hispaniola vine boa I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
It was discovered in 2020. Shout out COVID. And it's just a little guy, a little dewdrop guy.
I think I said gracilis earlier. The vine boa is the newest discovered.
Which one?
Wait,
what?
Hispaniola vine boa. That's the one that was just described in 20.
Okay, yeah, the one we're talking Ampelophus.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's not bored of us reading a book in front of you.
Well, you can suck it, so.
I know. I'm just saying it's a pretty good book. I don't know if it's for everybody in the whole earth because it's a little dense. But I think if you're someone who wants to challenge yourself to have a good time, check it out. It's not expensive and it's got nice pictures.
Have a good time.
Got the peen shot.
What I thought was cool about this, though, is dimorphism in the spurs. Look at that. Only in like subadults and adults, though.
Can you feel their peens through their tails?
With a Cuban boa, probably.
Oh, I mean the ones the
Dominicans, I can't.
You can't.
I've tried palpating. I tried palpating and I've tried shining light, and I can't.
You cannot.
But I also have lack of sensitivity in my hands from Navy mechanic shit.
All right, so maybe somebody else could.
Maybe somebody can. I actually want to do some stuff with Image J if I can see if I can find a tail length difference. The problem is they're semi-arboreal, so the tail's crazy long.
Chris has touched his Dominican red mountain boas.
I can pop the babies.
And
maybe, yeah, let's do somebody with functioning hands. If he can feel it, then. Because when they're babies, their peens, they don't actually mature for like 5 years. So their peens are just itty bitty little nubbins.
Yeah. I just, like in boas, it's not a huge long either. It's just you can feel that there's some sort of little rubber band structure in there that's sort of being like dragged, and then you're sort of pulling a little bit, and then it falls off your thumb.
Let's see, I've felt the rubber band thing, but I felt it in a confirmed female.
Damn.
And then I immediately stopped that method. Most people with this species just probe them.
Do they probe deep?
Deep enough. It's noticeable. I've been able to pop babies though. I was worried about popping babies, but it was fine. It doesn't take hardly any effort.
All right, popping babies is good.
Yeah, popping babies.
Chris can feel speed bumps.
Oh, that's good. I'll just send my babies.
Is the breeding section good? There is no breeding section.
Well, there's reproductive sections on each species.
Right, but I feel like it's not like a recipe book type.
No, it's
section.
just timing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just replicate the temperatures that's down there up here, and I just have it timed to shift when it needs to shift. And so I just breed the same timing that is in here, and as my one time worked really well.
The other thing that I kept doing, I was like, I don't think this is in the hobby, and which is fine. I really don't care. But I kept like being like, do I remember this?
Mm-hmm.
And then what's? And I kept doing that, and like Ford's boas are in the hobby, right?
All of a sudden, I'm seeing more Fords out there than I have in a while. But that may be because I don't know if it's just because Crutchfield got rid of his, and these are maybe the ones that were bought and being resold, or if these are just different people with them.
You don't think they're being made more, or they're just
might be? If they don't, the thing is, I don't think Fords sell very well. And so somebody might have a one-off litter and then learn not to breed them again, which is a shame because Fords are definitely the most like docile of the Chilobothrus. They're even
pretty cute.
Did you see there's a chart in here about like the defensive behaviors of all the species?
Oh, where they're poop, like do they poop?
Yeah, do they?
Some of them form and poop balls. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
I don't remember where that chart went. But yes.
And then you have like the Ford's boa, and the only thing it does is like it gets still or something. That is it. Stick.
Yeah, that part's cool. Did you see the picture of the like tarantula and the snake sharing a burrow and like
yeah. That was kind
all of those things are cool in general. So that's a good reason to have the book. The cave picture.
I'm trying to find I think it was the Puerto Rican boa had numerous. Yeah, that one right there, where it's literally just dangling. So what's kind of unique about that is again they're not really using heat there. They are literally, and they can't see either. So they're literally just dangling
So
And
something
there's
fuzzy
videos.
touches them.
Yeah, they basically just hang down, put themselves as far as possible, and wait till something like brushes up against them, and they very quickly wrap it. Or they'll do a flail. So sometimes they'll actually be on the ground and rise up, and will just wave back and forth in an opening of a cave. Just whatever.
There are videos of this on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you been to the Dominican Republic?
Nope, but I'm going to Puerto Rico in the end of the month. Well, end of February. I've been to Belize, and that's about it for down there. Well, Puerto Rico, I plan on going herping as much as possible.
Is Granti in the hobby?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
A lot of stuff. There's like a bias in my brain towards Morph Market anyway, where I'm like,
yeah, people think if it's not in
Morph Market, never makes it to Morph Market, and it definitely exists. You just have to like know a guy or girl.
Yeah. If you want to save it, 125 is the Cuban boa myths.
Is this the one where they like kill them and dress up too? Or is that earlier?
That's earlier.
Okay.
That's where it talks about like snake oil and stuff like that, and the whole sucking on the teat.
We love teats.
Yeah. Did you see the there's an Ineratus, the Puerto Rican boa Ineratus? The hypomelanistic.
Oh yeah, the one on Karst. It's also my favorite.
That's so cool.
It's like a cookies and cream color naturally.
Yeah. He does mention the calico, like again bringing up the captivity. He brings up the calico in the Dominicans.
Does he say if he thinks they're in the wild?
Nope. He just mentions that calicos have been created in captivity. Now, from what I understand, the original 3 were brought in wild caught. But I've also heard fairly recently that they the ones that were like the ones that's all white and with a few spots and it's bright red, that those all died shortly after developing.
What?
Over just a few weeks, and that they died. Now we do have calicos that are living long term, but we actually think that that's a different line of calico because it looks very different. It's not like a pure white like that was, and it's also the undercolor is not red. It's like whatever color would have been the base coat of that animal. So if it was a pastel, you're getting pastel speckling, similar to like a palmetto. But those all three, because I'd always heard that they were stolen. But then I
have a spicy hot take right now.
That they were killed.
Like a burning hot lava hot take.
Yeah.
It's just some sort of autoimmune disorder. And
yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. Well, when I first saw it, I wondered if it was scar tissue. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, like I saw another person with a gray ball python that used to be a pastel pied being like, I'm working on this and no one's ever seen this before. This is like the 16th version of that. They made the pastel pieds or pastels in general that turn gray may not die, but it's clearly some sort of, to me, I don't know, this is my opinion, don't listen to me. It's not a thing. It's just like they're just attacking their xanthan producing cells or something in their body.
Or it could just be even just something tied to it. You know, it's a different protein being produced that's not supposed to be produced. You know, it could be anything. But another ones that Dustin's been working with and Davenport, that's a different line. Davenport's actually got a animal that is calico that was not, we don't know where it came from. She thinks it was one that was like found loose here in the US. So you don't really know the background of it. But she has Dustin's calicos and she's been like maintaining that project. And she recently, one of mine that I got from her was from her breeding from one of his calicos to the one that she found, or the one that was found.
It produced calicos?
Well, we don't know. It unfortunately, we still know that it takes 3 or 4 years for like spots to form, and then it's one scale at a time. So we do know that. We just don't know if it's Dustin thinks that it's a dominant trait. I think it's recessive.
It's hard to test that. It takes 3 years to determine.
That's the problem is we don't know because nobody holds back whole clutches. And I know.
Right. Well, they get big. You kind of can't. You can't tell people to hold back 15 big ass.
Yeah, Leah tried holding. Leah Davenport. She was holding back a lot of animals, but then eventually you got to start, guessing which ones you think are going to turn out and sell the rest. Yeah,
I've been thinking about this first for like common boa stuff. I'm like, you can't bogart nothing if the snake adults are 6 feet, 5.
That's why.
Like, what are you gonna do? Keep 36-foot snakes? No, you just gotta let it free like the beautiful birds. Be like, let's all work on this together.
It's good security because not everybody most people that buy them, you can guarantee like 90% aren't gonna buy them to breed them. And of the 10% that do, half of them are gonna stop before they actually breed one.
That is true.
That's the reason why the prices have been okay on these guys. But you want to see the one thing that might be the only Chilobothrus that's cooler than Dominicans?
Spark hot take. Oh, I know. I just said too.
Yes. Look at it.
I just like how ombre'd out it is. Yeah. Anytime a snake does that, sign me up because it's like a big difference.
My favorite is still going to be Dominicans.
Okay,
that's my heart. But the only reason I put this one slightly higher, if we were doing a ranking, Dominicans was like an A+. This is the S. The only reason I say that is because people shit on any Dominican that's not red. They're all gorgeous. They come in a million colors. Nobody gives a shit. These come in a bunch of colors, and everybody loves every single one of them. So these
have like lovely, like
they're
big
cool.
Scalation on their head, almost like a scrub or something.
And they come in a silver phase too. The silver is really neat.
Well, I like gray Dominican mountain boas or like the weird pastel, because that's what boa boas look like. Really, is like tan with some pink in it.
My favorite is what I call inverse, because everyone says it's red, orange, or pastel. The problem is pastels have a bunch of different variants too, and of course there's still silvers and melanistics and stuff like that. But everyone thinks that pastel is just pastel. It's anything with a cream color. Some of them have dark pattern on cream, but some of them have this red color. And to me, I think it's hypo. I think because it's like the pattern that's normally black on a Dominican is red, and the pattern that's normally red on the belly, or the coloring underneath that's the red on the belly, is cream. So you basically just removed all the black.
Or
what's up?
Do you think it's recessive?
I don't know. Well, it seems I don't think it's recessive because pastel occurs so frequently, but I don't know if this red pastel is. Do
you think it's incomplete dominant?
Probably.
I do.
I think a mix of all of them, and the thing is, you could breed two reds together and pop out half pastels. Even if they had a whole line of reds ahead of them, you could still pop out pastels.
You think red's recessive?
No, I don't think red's recessive.
I think red's polygenic.
I think red's polygenic.
Well, you're just going to breed 50 of them and let me know.
We'll breed 50 of them, keep them all back for the next 7
and then grow them up and see how they change through time.
Yep.
I do think Jamaican boas are my favorite head. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, they have a little bit. They have a shorter schnoz, and it has that slight arch, and so they have almost more of the
apodora adjacent, but maybe not as dumb.
So like the Dominicans are very much like colubrid / boid together, but the Dominicans,
but it almost looks like their head scales overlap. I know, like a body scale. It's crazy looking. Everybody can look at a picture online. See how they look like hairy vipers a little bit. Not that bad, but like it's very interesting look.
Right. Whereas like the Cubans almost have like a Madagascar tree boa head, where they have that short but blocky bulldog head.
They're not dumb. They're very special. We love them. They're not dumb. They just very much. I mean, they just look like they got sung by a bee a couple times. They're the Taylor Swift of snakes. All right, now we're in boa boas. There's only 2 boas. The Dominican boa, clada boa. This is my favorite. I think they look really cool.
They are so cool. The blue.
And like the saddles are all like wonky doodle, and they are usually connected on the sides, not always.
And the thing is, it's so different from mainland boas, so that had to have established really early.
Yeah, they're very weird.
And they stay really small too.
They're pretty small. And the St. Lucia boas are more normal looking, but not totally normal looking.
Right.
They're also kind of small and they look cool. But I just, on paper, if someone could like magic a nebulosa into my hands that didn't get back disease, that would be fire.
Yeah.
Lisa loves how geeked you are. Thanks everybody for being here. Hopefully people will read a book one day. Any book will do, honestly.
Read this one.
Okay, read this one for now. But today, if you could read a book, that would make me filled with joy.
Do you guys know like how much it's like a scientific paper though? It literally is a scientific paper in book form.
Yeah, it's not like horrific. Like
no,
sometimes in the description, like in a normal paper, you would cite every single. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They sort of like riffing. There will be no citations, or it'll be like blah 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 personal communication. But it's not horrific. You will not die. But it is a little more dense than like whatever other hobby books. Then we're in the Corrales section.
Yes.
Is St. Vincent's tree boa in the hobby?
I've never seen them, but I wish they were.
Cookie eye.
The cookie eye.
Are they in the hobby?
No, but they're really wicked looking. Like I think that would be a popular one, but the one that's after it, let me see which one's after it. Is I think
Granada Bank.
Yes.
Is that in the hobby?
Probably not. I've never seen them. They're really cool though because they have like
where's Warren Booth when you need them?
I know because they almost like they can come in like a form that looks like annulateds.
Yes, like there's more of a range of expression of like the garden phase.
Yeah, there's also this one here that has the colors of a Madagascar tree boa, where it's like, come on, do the thing.
Red
it's
and
like
greeny
red
gray.
And green. Yeah,
it's very interesting looking, and they like to eat birdies. Fuck you, birdies.
It's probably gonna be a nightmare to establish.
Those
are really neat.
There's a age length curve, which is one of my favorite curves to make or read because it's like hard to do technically. And so it shows that like they're sort of peaking at 4 years old in terms of like the rate of growth. They probably still grow continuously through life, but I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's a boa, it lives on an island, it won't breed until it's 10 or something. But these are maturing by 4 in terms of rate of growth.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could breed them at 3 or 4 and it's probably fine. It's fine. And they have them being transient. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So they like to run around on this island, have fun. They also like to eat stuff in people's houses.
So this is the map that I was referring to earlier about how like the boas moved up the island and how those are all extinct species that they have found, unique extinct species as they moved up the chain. So that's right.
But that's boa.
That's boa.
Boas. But the other ones might have gone on a different life. A different life. Because there's not always I guess is there a Chilobothris on every single Lesser Antilles island? I didn't think there was.
The big ones, yeah. Like the decent sized islands. The little mini, like little keys, probably not. But
because there's one on St. Lucia. Any Chilobothris species on
St. Lucia? It might not be that far down.
That's what I mean. So it looks to me, it just seemed like there was none down there. It was just boas and Corrales that came up from South America. But the Chilobothris, they didn't come up from that position. They came over from Nicaragua.
What's wild though is Chilobothris is still closer related to Epicrates than they are to Corrales.
Well, it must be, to me, it feels like, I don't know. Those ones came first to those older, bigger islands.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe from a common ancestor that's not.
Right.
either, not Epicrates or Chilobothrus. Or maybe there was Chilobothrus on those islands before Boas got there.
Yep.
Boa genus. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm making shit up, but I would like to know more.
Well, hopefully it gets figured out one day.
Yeah, before I die, that'd be great. Thank you. But it'd be nice to find somebody get on who's had more.
Yeah.
Of the genera.
Well, so you should talk to Leah Davenport. I think she would definitely come on. She's done she just did her first podcast with somebody not too long ago.
Is she shy?
Yeah, she's a little she's not an extrovert, definitely.
Dang it.
She works for Morph Market, so she does go to like shows and she is used to going out and talk to people, but I don't think she's done many like online things. She doesn't post much either, which I bug her about. But I know she has she wants to get all of them. She does have Jamaicans and Dominicans.
What state does she live in?
Texas.
Okay, so she's like capable.
Yeah, I think she definitely would. I could put a word out to her, but I definitely think she would do it.
All right, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
it would just be like, how do you keep this, ma'am? Basically,
yeah. She keeps Amazons also.
All right, does she want like the other ones?
Yes, yeah, she wants
like
to get
Burger
all of them. It's funny because anybody that you mean tree boas?
Oh, yeah. She wants every legally available Chilobothrus.
Yeah, anybody that gets a Chilobothrus, we all want all of them.
Even if you have to get house geckos and anoles in the yard. At least if you live in Texas, like she could have a lot of stuff in her yard, technically.
She like, catches hers.
Prey item. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I think I decided with my next litter because I only had 11, and so it's already. I mean, it's not been too much of a pain in the butt. I had somebody ship. I had done 2 shipments of anoles up to me, and I just froze them off, and then blended some of them and refroze them again. But I think next time, if I have a friend of mine had a litter recently, also like I think maybe a few weeks after me, he got 31 babies because his were he has Corey Martin's pair that she used to have. My dog is having a fur ball.
That's okay.
Thanks, dog.
Oh, gotta clean that up later.
Well, that's a future me problem.
So Corey Martin.
Yeah, so he has
is he keeping like a colony of morning geckos or Benoist?
No, he wasn't expecting it because he'd been trying to breed them over a couple of years. Corey Martin didn't do well with them. He said that pair didn't breed for her. He had them for a couple of years, and then he's been keeping them together. He's been cohabiting them, I'm pretty sure. But sure enough, out of the blue, she dropped 31 babies on him, and he's in Texas. So I'm like, dude, just go out and get lizards. And he said he's not sure. He said they're either going to take mice for him or they're going to be food for something else. But
that's fine.
It's fine because they make 1 million babies. But
they aren't particularly common either. So like, he should send them for free to someone who lives somewhere where there's lizards coming out of his yard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think what I might do, I offered it to him. I said, hey, if you can't get them to eat, send them up here, and if I can get them to eat, then we'll work something out. But I'd rather not see them go to be food if I can help it. But I think what I'm going to do next time, I'm just going to fly down somewhere and just collect my own and mail them, like freeze them in the hotel freezer and mail them back.
Housekeeping comes in. Housekeeping! Get out of here, freezing lizards!
I just get a little to-go container to put in there. Because I get nervous about anoles. And I prefer ones that are further up north, like in Georgia or even Texas, further from Florida.
So less they don't have pentastomes?
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's surveyed one in Georgia.
You don't want to like propagate some for yourself?
Mm-hmm. No, I don't. Snakes don't require daily attention. And I really like that.
But some of the geckos don't either. Like the anoles, maybe more.
I want to get, I was going to get Pictus geckos.
Okay. They do.
And I think that would work because they hatch out bigger. If I do morning geckos, they hatch out itty bitty and take forever to get to a size that I could use. Pictus geckos hatch out a pretty decent size. So
the best part about them to me is that they still breed relatively young and they're not arboreal. They're like they don't have sticky pads. So you could like they're not going to run away or get crushed in the door when they try to run away.
Yeah.
What about assist feeding? How do you feel about that?
So, out of my 11, everyone took their first anole right away. Well, not all of them. So I tried mice first, unscented. I did live mice across the board. 1 out of the 11 took a live mouse, no problem. He's been taking live mice ever since, and it's never been an issue.
Does he want frozen thawed mice yet, or is he still wanting to wriggle around?
Yeah, he hasn't taken frozen thawed, and I could send his frozen thawed, but I don't want to take a step back. So I'm just going to wait him out. I have one that started when the second round was quail, frozen quail. And so I have one that's been on frozen quail since the beginning and hasn't needed anything else. But he also is only on quail. I have one that
quail or
button quail. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Day old button quail are small enough.
They're so cute.
They are so fucking cute. I want to raise them.
I want to raise them just to be my friend. They're so cute.
Yeah, I have a few that have switched to scented, frozen, thawed, and I have only a few that are still on anoles. One of them took his first anole the first time I fed him, and then wouldn't take anything else. So I did assist feed him. He's been assist fed a couple of times. He shows
tails or pinkies?
Anoles.
Oh, just whole anoles.
So I found that anoles, because of how linear they are and they're slick. So these little fuckers can, like, it doesn't matter how far you put it back in there, he can push it out. Mm-hmm. And so with the mice, it's such a bigger, bulkier thing. It's hard to get it further down. With the anole, I can get it all the way down and get his mouth closed, and then he'll swallow it. But it's amazing.
I did notice in here, they're like, none of the guys want frogs, really. None of them. There's a couple of like, some of them ate some frogs some of the time, but they're like, ew. They're definitely lizard specialists.
Yeah. So, and well, did you see in the book the feeding chart thing that said all the different food classes they eat? None of them ate frogs.
Yeah. I think they eat frogs like incidentally, like on accident, but I don't.
I did try
any of them are frog specialists.
I know people that have success with tuna juicing. I didn't have success with tuna juicing.
Does tuna smell like a lizard?
No, I think it smells more like frog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think chicken. Lisa talked about button quail and sending with chicken down. Like if you like jam it into like a bucket of chicken livers from Walmart, it smells deeply of. To me, lizards smell more like birds.
Yeah, I agree.
Crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, think about when you eat like alligator or like gator tail. It tastes
like chicken. Mm-hmm. And not even like a haha joke way.
Yeah, it's not like people say frog legs taste like chicken, but frog legs taste like chicken that you shoved in a fish and you left in for 3 days.
Yeah, it's got like the color of chicken, but it tastes like fish because it's gator in a mud puddle.
Yeah, gator doesn't have that weird funkiness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can just get some gator tail strips. I have tried. So when I got my ones from Crutchfield years ago, his were still on. One of them was on quail, and one of them was still on anoles. And I switched it over. It took a little while, but I tried that Reptilinks for a while. I tried the quails, I tried the frogs, I tried the iguana meat. None of them worked. So I don't know.
Most of my animals never gave two shits about any Reptilinks. Like some corn snakes would, like the most casual ass corn snakes that would eat anything. Mm-hmm. But even some corn snakes would be like,
yeah.
I don't think they really smell like.
I had to throw mine away because I couldn't find anything to take them.
You want to see a picture on the internet?
I do.
It's a Dominican boa eating an iguana of some kind.
Look at that.
Fire. Okay, sorry.
You should find that the bat swinging video.
Okay, let's find that. So how was the wildlife conference?
It was great. So I went to it was the Midwest.
A Cuban boa eating a bat?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's a Cuban boa. I went to the Midwest Fish and Wildlife Conference, which is like a big networking conference where people kind of share the research that they're working on. Mostly university people, some also like conservation organizations. We get a little bit of like government officials too. And then some students will also show what they're working on with school projects. But that was really interesting. I'll show you the...
Were you presenting at anything?
We had some students that presented. I did not. Like this is like, these are all talks from one day.
What was your favorite session to be in?
It's going to be a little weird. It was actually a guy was talking about raccoon removal for eastern box turtle population. Mm-hmm. And I actually got this. Not supposed to take pictures of his thing. I was going to send you pictures, but technically some of the stuff's not published. So I'm not supposed to take pictures or post them. But I do have numbers on his because I was really curious. So in 2018, he, with 0 raccoons removed, so completely natural, he had 81 snakes captured, 434 turtles, 227 mammals, 251 lizards.
In a drift fence?
No, this is just the he used drift fence and like pitfalls and stuff like that to
this is like total,
but this is over a small like area. He collected the next year he collected removed 44 raccoons, and the numbers started going up. But so 2021, he captured 44 raccoons. Then he captured 32 the next year, 75 the next year, and 38 the next year. In 2025, snakes went from 81 captures to 435 captures. Turtles went from 434 to 572. Mammals went from 227 to 321. And lizards went from 251 to 367.
Was this a raccoon exclusion zone or what?
Well, that's why they had to keep removing, is because they would just keep coming back. And so they had to just every year keep removing more. And they were trying to improve the eastern box turtle and the hognose snake populations. It got to the point because there's like little to no recruitment for turtle species. And so during that time, they weren't catching hardly any juveniles. They were only seeing adults. And then it shifted once they removed all the raccoons. All of a sudden, they have almost just as many juveniles as adults. So my concern is that if we're having that much recruitment, what's going to happen with the population? Is there going to be more disease spreading? At what point do you say, hey, maybe we need to slow down catching the raccoons? But they did find that when they
was it somewhere like urban, suburban, adjacent, there was unnatural raccoon subsidization, or was it like in the middle of the woods anyway?
Middle of the woods.
So they just fucking around anyways, what you're telling me.
Yeah, it's a preservation. Because raccoons are territorial, so there's an empty space, they're gonna fill it. You know.
Well, yeah, that's what I don't know.
Here's I can't really show you too much, but I can't see it. There's the drift fence. Look how long it is. It just keeps going.
The other thing I obviously have to point out is like drift fences are predated on by raccoons on purpose.
Anything that messes with them.
So like the density of the target animals might not have actually changed. It's just he wasn't getting fucked over by raccoons specifically, and it's like sampling.
Maybe, but the big change was the ratio of juvenile to adult that changed, where he caught basically the same number of adults year after year, but was catching a shit ton more juveniles. And again, that is easier to pull out of a bucket for a little raccoon hand. But they were also doing this over like 6 years, you know. So if they're removing them that much, they wouldn't see much year to year if that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like you're not supposed to recruit 50% of your
I know that
40-year-old turtles.
So that was my concern, because you have like a species that's reproductive for 30 plus years. It's okay if the recruitment's low, but what was kind of neat with this is since they removed the raccoons, there's such an overabundance of eggs that the hognose, who they were also supposed to try, they were also using this to encourage them to populate more. They started predating on the eggs of
turtle eggs.
Yeah.
I just, what do I think? I just think we should probably jettison ourselves into the sun and then let animals take care of their own business.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of talks about Maceres.
Is this the one where he's wobbling?
This isn't the one that he's wobbling, but it's a different one. There's one where they're vertical in a hole. This might also
from the ground.
Yeah, like in the opening of the cave, like standing up instead of dangling.
Teamwork.
Look at that. Mealy's already got in his belly.
It's a lot of bats.
It's kind of wild because like he can't see either, and they don't really have much for heat sensing, so they just wait for something to touch them and they snatch it.
It's good eating.
Yeah, there's a lot of talkers on Blandings turtles, spotted turtles, Masasagas. A lot of talk about Masasagas. Like
Is it a
inbreeding
species
depression.
of concern in Ohio?
In Ohio, in Ohio it is. In Indiana, it's a state endangered. There's a population, a really good population up in northern Michigan. They have like 2 decent sized populations, but they're studying like the inbreeding depression of them. And they're inbred as fuck. Well, not okay. There's a couple like strongly inbred individuals, but there's just no genetic drift.
I mean, that's all animals know.
Yeah. Well, and the problem is the Midwest.
Not all of them, but like
we're so badly fragmented because all these areas that used to be wetlands and everything are just gone. So we're all patchwoods and country.
Yeah, it's really weird because like I thought about doing a video about this, and then I was like, I'll just get too depressed. But basically, every animal you look at right now is a ghost of future extinctions because they cannot. It doesn't have to come true. Like we could Ebenezer Scrooge this bitch and fix it. But the way they are now, they're like all relictual populations of what they should be doing. All of them, except for like, I don't know, raccoons, because they're just running around fucking and dealing with our shit. Like all the weedy species are fine, but like otherwise, almost everything is going to die.
Yeah,
given a couple centuries, because we're inbreeding the shit out of all of them.
There's only one solution, and that's less people. People don't want to hear that, but that's the only. I mean, because nothing is fully sustainable. Everything is only sustainable for a short amount of time before it becomes unsustainable.
You're talking hippie shit. Watch out.
Yeah, that's the reason why
it's gonna come get us.
All ecologists are nihilistic. That's just a fact of it.
Right. I mean, well, one day, hopefully, human beings will enter like a post-infinite growth mindset, and we will decide how much land we want to use, hopefully, and we will be nice about it. What about that?
Japan's done it. I mean, Japan hit a certain point where they're like, hey, we're no longer going to expand. Japan has a lot of wildlife still, a lot of wildlands where they like, hey, the city, we are no longer going to accept expanding the city out and we have to go up. And so you literally have a dense city and then it hits a mountain and the mountain is fully forested and untouched.
Right. Well, we'll have to make choices like that.
Yeah, they're also smarter about population too, because their population is declining and not going up.
Because people want dogs. I'm going to be smart about it. I think some of them are like, y'all need to breed. Stop watching anime.
No, everyone needs to go get a dog and not be so quick to have kids.
Well, and also like there's other countries where like urban development is just managed differently. And so like, I don't know, the Netherlands is a big one where it's like clearly they're trying to mix use tightly in a controlled way with public transport. They're not wasting spaces on parking lots. And so like you can have like farmland coming right up to the city too, because you're just like planning things a little better.
Creating wildlife bridges and stuff like that too. You know, creating corridors. That goes a long way. Not fragmented.
Hippie shit.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if humanity can figure it out. Can they?
We won't.
No. Sometimes I'm like, we won't. Then I'm like, well, but like, what are you gonna do? Eventually, like, do we need like? Okay, I know it's the end of the podcast, but I listened to an interview with Sam Altman being like, I can't wait until data centers cover the earth. I'm like, fucking what? What? Like, why would you even like say that in jest? Like, it's like the worst worldview of like, this is a perfect future, just the earth covered in data centers where there's no,
and then there won't be any water. Just fucking
there won't be any people.
Power, zap all the water.
What are we, the Borg? Like, what is the goal here? And why would that be good in your opinion that you even talk about it in like a speculative, fun way?
Yeah. I have a lot of faith in like the Scandinavian countries are doing a lot of good.
Do you think they'll help us not cover the earth in data centers?
No, unless they win the Greenland War and take us over, then maybe things will be better.
I keep thinking, I was like, when are like the rational actors going to enter the chat here and be like, no, we just don't need to do that right now because like we have other bigger problems than covering the earth in data centers or putting data centers in space. Fuck, dude, we could solve other problems. We just focus in. We just lock in on hunger or something. I don't know, just anything stupid like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Now we're canceled. How does it feel?
You can watch the view count drop.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still alive.
All right.
All right.
You sound a little.
I said I was getting heated about data centers.
You sound manic.
Well, I am manic.
Yeah.
So.
You forgot the depressive part.
Oh yeah, the depressing that's already passed. Now we're back to being combative. Weird.
But hey, government's not shutting down. Woo!
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh no. They passed everything except for a separate. They split DHS and ICE into a separate bill, and that's going to get renegotiated. But everything else got passed.
Are we gonna die again, or
I mean,
we'll see. We'll put a pin in that one.
That is a different question. It's a wildly different question.
All right, let's say goodbye. We're still alive,
Hello, other person on the internet.
and the whole rest of the internet. This is like
Sweetheart.
I'm glad I'm not in the Navy anymore.
Sweetheart.